Lizzo, the queen of body positivity, who lost weight and now is apparently upset that other people are also losing weight. Yes, she recently wrote an article on Substack titled, "Why is Everybody Losing Weight and What Do We Do?" Sincerely, a person who lost weight. Well, this is actually not too recent. She posted this back in November, but I thought it would be an interesting article to react to. So I'm going to read this article that Lizzo herself wrote, the Queen of Body Positivity, and then give you my thoughts. I did a video not too long ago about Meghan Trainor and how she was also a body positivity queen and how she lost weight and how she received the backlash for that. And she's still receiving it. People are saying awful things about her. And I thought her story was interesting because she actually came out in a recent video saying that, look, I wrote that song all about that bass, about how, oh, she loves her big body and skinny bitches, blah, 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 right? She said, hey, look, I wrote that when I was in my 20s. And the truth was, I didn't actually feel that way. Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine someone who claims to be body positive saying how they love their fat. They love having diabetes. They just love their rolls of belly fat, and they love being on ventilators because they can't breathe because they have too much fat around their lungs. They just love not being able to fit onto one plane seat. They just love it. Everything about the fat lifestyle, they love it. Oh, imagine that it turns out they actually didn't. Imagine that. Who could have seen that coming? Who could have seen it coming that when there is now a drug that makes it easy for everyone to lose weight, that most people start losing weight? Who could have predicted that? Well, me. That's who, and likely you as well. Most of you actually who follow me and subscribe to this channel, we're all on the same wavelength here. I think we all saw this coming, or we had a come to moment where we're like, yeah, this is stupid. I don't want to risk my life to be fat just so I can prove to the body positive community that, I can be fat and beautiful. Okay. Yeah, it's all silly. It's all stupid. Lizzo lost weight. She looks really good. She's by no means skinny, but she's definitely a lot thinner than she was before. So let's just dive into her articles and just start reacting to it. All right. Why is everybody losing weight? And what do we do? Sincerely, a person who's lost weight. Authors note, when I use the term Ozempic boom, it is not a demonization of GLP-1s and the people who use them. Rather, it is a punchy term to describe the new thin is in era of the 2020s. Okay, and there is Lizzo, and I think that this is post-weight loss. I started losing weight in the fall of 2023. I was severely depressed. I had been the subject of a vicious scandal, and it felt like the whole world turned its back on me. I became deeply you don't know if I can say that word, but she wanted to delete herself. I cut off all my loved ones. I couldn't trust anyone because during this scandal, former close colleagues and friends who I'd been on pleasant or neutral terms started to come out and make things up about me. God knows why. I suppose to kick me while I'm down. 15 minutes of fame, I guess I'll never know. So I think that was when I vaguely remember some kind of scandal. I don't know. I don't really follow too much celebrity stuff, but I think that was when like some of her backup dancers came out and said something like she fat shamed them or something. I don't know, something weird like that. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But that resulted in my extreme isolation. I was angry every day, mostly because I couldn't go out and defend myself. I couldn't tell the world the truth because no one would believe me. I understood my position of power and I sat in it. The old me would tend to hinge eat when sad and depressed. I would order hundreds of dollars of food delivery and eat everything until my stomach felt like it would explode. So it's interesting she says that, and I'll tell you why. Because a lot of these fat activists and body positivity people, they love saying that, oh no, but they're healthy the way they are. Being fat is healthy. You can be healthy and fat. I don't have an ED. I don't overeat. I eat healthy. Look at my blood work. Look at how much I exercise. But we know that's not really the truth. Yeah, they may show what they eat in a day in one Instagram post where they ate pretty healthy. They may show themselves working out one time on Instagram. Maybe they do it occasionally. But in reality, there's a reason why they're fat. There's a reason that they're close to 400 pounds, which I think Lizzo was. That's a lot of weight, guys. Okay. I know we talk about like, hey, there is a range of healthy weights and not everyone needs to be 120 pounds to be thin or even to be healthy. But nobody is healthy at 400 pounds unless you're like 6'8" and you're a man and you're a linebacker. Okay. So no. I'm sorry, you are not healthy if you're 400 pounds. You did not get that way by eating healthy foods. You did not get that way by eating normal portion of foods. You did not get that way by exercising. And the fact that she's actually admitting it here now, oh, you binged. So you binged your feelings. So that's why you're fat, right? That's why it reminds me of the anti-diet pilot girl. You guys remember her? Where her whole thing is, I just can eat whatever I want, and it's not healthy to do intentional weight loss, and you could be healthy at any size. And then she got on Ozempic for health reasons, she said, and she came out and it's like you can tell a totally different shift in her. She's so much happier. She looks better. She lost weight. And she goes on and, some of her posts talking about, oh, it's so crazy since I've been on Ozempic. Like, I don't, hinge eat anymore to the point where I'm so full. Like, I actually crave food less, and I don't crave junk food anymore. I don't feel like I have to keep eating it. Where in all of her other posts, she talked about food addiction not being real and how she didn't have it. It wasn't real for anyone. You basically just said it's real. Now that you are on medication that helps with food addiction, okay, now you see the difference. But even then, what gets me about these people is that they still won't admit it. And that's my issue with Lizzo, right? Is that even though she did lose the weight, she still won't come out and admit that, no, being fat's bad. They just won't do it. And that's just what blows my mind, even though they are basically telling us that the way they were before was not healthy. Okay. Even if maybe you didn't lose weight to look better, that's fine. Okay. I could believe that. Sure. But you did it because you weren't healthy. Okay. So that just goes to show that being fat is not good, and that you shouldn't encourage other people to be fat, and that maybe you should encourage weight loss because of the fact it's not healthy, but they won't say that. But this time I just didn't feel like doing that. Not because I thought it would result in my weight loss, but honestly, I didn't care about my body. I didn't want to feel safe. A huge part of me blamed myself for what had happened to me. You shouldn't be so nice, Melissa, I thought to myself. You shouldn't try to help everyone all the time. This is what you get when you let the wrong people in. So in my self-loathing and self-neglect, I began to rot. As someone who has talked and sang about self-love their entire career, it was hard to watch that happen to myself. And so I decided to turn my extreme inaction to action. I needed a way to process my pain through my body, so I started with Pilates. I only worked with Black women instructors and learned that Pilates was actually co founded by a Black woman. Okay, as opposed to working with Asian instructors or white instructors or Hispanic instructors. I think that was an odd thing to say. I used it as physical therapy. Sometimes I cried after sessions. I found that I had lost some weight in that process, but it wasn't as significant as it is now because it wasn't intentional. I decided that winter to sit and record a video saying I wanted to intentionally lose weight. Why? I guess I felt like I had lost everything and I wanted to change. Okay, but even here, it just goes to show you. She said, I wasn't trying to lose weight, but after I started working out, it just happened. Yeah. Okay. When you do something good for yourself, like work out, it just goes to show that you weren't supposed to have that weight on your body to begin with. Okay. When you are doing things that are healthy, when you are not hinge eating, when you are working out, if you lose weight, that's a good thing. It's because you didn't need that weight to begin with. All right. Which just goes to show you were not healthy before. Okay. You were not healthy before if the weight was there before. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one is healthy being 400 pounds. You don't get that way by doing healthy habits. So when you start doing healthy habits and you lose the weight, it just goes to show you should have been doing that all along. It just goes to show that you were not, in fact, healthy when you were fat. After talking to a few therapists, I discovered that my weight had been a protective shield, a joyful comfort zone, and even sometimes a superhero suit to protect me through life. My weight, like my hair, represented time. It stored energy, and I wanted to release myself from it. So from the moment on, any weight on my physical body that was subtracted was not a pound lost, but a pound released. It was energetic for me, not vain. And yes, I've had my back issues that I've talked about explicitly. It most certainly helped that in that area as well. But I'm not going to sit up as one of these big girl celebrities that have had dramatic changes to their body and give you that I did it for medical reasons story. Because we all know, yes, that exists. Yes, there's less pressure on my joints the less I weigh. Yes, there's less risk of certain health issues the less I weigh. But let's be real. I wanted to change how I felt in my body. Okay, but are those reasons alone not enough to lose weight? Are they not? I mean, you are basically saying I was not healthy while I was fat. Maybe you were beautiful, you were still successful, but you weren't healthy. Okay, at the very least, you can say that. If you want to talk about being fat and how I like being fat and I'm willing to take these risks, okay, that's one thing. But you don't get to sit up there and be like, no, everyone, it's fine for everyone to be fat. And I encourage you to also stay fat and we can be healthy at every size. No, you can't say that because you're admitting to yourself that it wasn't healthy. The fact that you're in her, she's in her 30s. She can't be much older than I am. And the fact that she has, problems with her joints and her back because of her weight, that's not good. Okay, that's not good. I had been holding on to so much since my father passed in 2009. I had been holding on to relationships that were deeply abusive and toxic since 2011. I had been carrying the weight of supporting my family since 2016. I wanted to let it go. It was never about being thin for me. I don't even think it's possible for me to be considered actually thin. I will always have the stretch and the skin of a woman who carries great weight. And I am proud of that, even when the world doesn't want me to be. The way I've been treated as a public figure since I was introduced to the world as a confident body positive figure has been borderline emotional abuse. And it's simply because of my weight. Nevertheless, I made it work for me. So I wonder if she's saying that she just because she was a bigger girl in the entertainment industry, she was immediately marked as being a body positive queen. And we talked about that with Megan Trainor as well. Like, I didn't really know much about her backstory other than the one song that she sung. Like, was she ever like a super body positive queen, or was she just kind of put into that group? Kind of like how I think Adele was, and I don't know, even Rebel Wilson. Was it just that they happened to be fat and successful, and so people were like, "Yes, you're a body positive queen," when they never really said that themselves? I don't know. I mean, while Megan Trainor did make that song, right? As far as I knew, Lizzo, she did have songs, right, about being like fat and proud. So I don't know. I mean, she definitely leaned into it.
But first, a quick message from today's sponsor, Bob and Brad. Question for you. Does your massage gun really hit all the places that you need it to? Because I know for me, those places are in between my shoulder blades, my back, my glutes, hips, places that are actually pretty hard to hit on your own, even if you have a handheld massage gun. However, that is changing for me recently now with the Bob and Brad D6 Ultra Massage Gun. Bob and Brad D6 Ultra Massage Gun has a unique diamond-shaped design that actually makes it easier for you to hit those hard to reach spots on your own. What's unique about the D6 Ultra Massage Gun is the far infrared heat massage head designed for deep, intelligent recovery. This isn't just vibration. The infrared waves actually penetrate deep into your muscle tissue, gently raising the temperature and boosting blood and oxygen flow, which is essential for recovery. Heat first, then relax, then repair. The tension melts, stiffness fades, lactic acid clears faster. It's deep tissue relief that feels like a pro-level treatment anytime you need it. What I also love about it is that, like all Bob and Brad products, it is travel friendly. So you can pack it in its own little travel friendly case and bring it with you wherever you go this holiday season. Check out the link below in the description and pinned comment to get your own D6 Ultra Massage Gun and use code Bob and Brad D6 for 10% off. I guarantee you this is the one massage gun that you will actually use and won't end up in your closet.
Even if it wasn't intentional at first. Nevertheless, I made it work for me. I trolled the hell out of those obnoxious memes. I was self-aware that I was the butt of every fat joke on the internet. And yet I continued to be who I am because it's the only thing I know how to be. And even in being myself, no one really believed it. I discovered that people thought that I was being performative, being body positive when I was the first body positive musician to become mainstream doesn't even make sense. Performative only works if you know it's going to work for you. I had no clue because there was no one before me to show me the way. I discovered that people thought that I was actually fat phobic and had internalized fat phobia, that everything I was doing in my activism, which included hiring Black women who have larger bodies, creating literal industries for plus size dancers and models and actresses, was because I secretly hate fat people. You think I'm making this up, but if I had $1 for every time an agent had looking for a Lizzo type on a casting, I have a lot of dollars. Yeah, I don't think that she was secretly fat phobic. I think that maybe secretly she wasn't as happy being fat like she portrayed. Okay. I don't think that she was fat phobic. I don't know if that's where the controversy came from. I think that's silly. Um, but yeah, I mean, kind of going back to what she's saying here, like she said, I made it work for me. I trolled the hell out of those obnoxious memes and people called her performative. But she kind of made everything about her body, though. She made a lot of posts and just a lot of songs about her body and how she was fat and so proud all the time. I don't know. It's kind of like she's saying, like, I didn't like that, but you kind of also did it to yourself. Like, you can be a fat singer and if in the industry and not make it about your body. Okay, Adele is a great example, right? And I think that Lizzo is talented enough that she could have done that without making it all about her body. She's beautiful. I love her songs, right? I think she's very talented. But maybe it was like an insecurity of her, though. I think that's really what it sounds like she's saying, is that she actually was really insecure about her body. So she kind of had to come out on top of that and kind of like beat people to the punchline. You know what I mean? That's what I think, anyhow. I was sick and tired of my identity being overshadowed by my fatness. People could not see my talent as a musician because they were too busy accusing me of making being fat my whole personality. But she kind of did, though, right? She kind of did. I know that my story isn't unique. I know that women in bigger bodies, especially Black women in bigger bodies, have had this working against them since forever. I had to actively work against mammy tropes by being hypersexual and vulgar because being a mammy by definition is being desexualized. I I don't know. Are there not other examples of bigger Black women who are not put into that mammy trope? I mean, I don't know. I think that there are examples of plenty of bigger women that didn't have to be hypersexual to be taken seriously, right? Adele, she's never been hypersexual, and I think that her talent just kind of spoke for itself. And I actually think that, yeah, I wonder if it really comes down to more of an insecurity for Lizzo, because I feel like she's not really taking into account how talented she actually is. Because I don't think she would have had to do that. I think she could have still been kind of edgy and sexy and still worn, cute clothes and tight clothes, but not have like gone to the lengths that she did. And I think she still would have been successful. It still didn't work. They saw my body and they judged me for it. And no matter what, they're going to judge your body. Okay. When you are a woman, and it's not fair. It's not right. Okay. It is disgusting. But you're saying that, like, oh, but I wanted them to see my true talent. I wanted them to see me for what I am. But again, you were the one who really made it more about your body. Like, people are going to talk regardless, okay? Whether you try to show off your body or not, they're going to say something, but you're only making it worse by making your body your whole personality. And that's the reality that nobody wants to talk about. We're in an era where the bigger girls are getting smaller because they're tired of being judged. And now those bigger girls are being judged for getting smaller by the very community they used to empower. There's nothing wrong with living in a bigger body. There's nothing wrong with being fat. But if a woman wants to change, she should be allowed to change. I mean, yeah, I think she's right. No matter what, you're going to be judged, whether you are bigger or smaller. And I definitely agree that you should be allowed to change. There's nothing wrong with being fat. Well, no, there's nothing morally wrong with being fat. I think you obviously still deserve to be treated as a person. You can still be beautiful. You can still be successful. You can be all these things. But being fat, being overweight is not good for you. So I don't know that I should say there's nothing wrong with it. It it's nothing wrong for other people, but it's wrong for you. Meaning it's bad for you. It won't affect me very much, but it will affect you. And I just think that I can't sit here and say, especially as someone who was fat, that I think that you should just stay obese. I would never say that. Okay, I would just never say that. I got a lot of backlash in 2018 because my song was in a Weight Watchers commercial. Oprah asked 2018 me, and back then I was like, hell yeah, it's Oprah. I had no idea the implications, and I learned very quickly how using my music in a Weight Watchers commercial can be harmful. It was my first big lesson in public accountability. Admittedly, I've made some questionable posts since then, namely my smoothie detox. But along the way, I have been very conscious of how I present my weight release to the world. My weight release. I documented it. I made sure not to say how much weight I actually released because I didn't want anyone holding themselves to a certain standard. I'm fully aware my actions as a public figure can have real and possibly harmful effects on other people. But one day I decided to show my results from getting consistent lymphatic draining massages for over 2 years. I've been taking photos in the mirror of the spa bathroom, and I was very proud of my results. I posted the side by side photos and I framed it as, "This is my results from getting lymphatic massage." Shortly after that, I saw a video from Jamila Jamil saying something like, "Yikes, people are now posting before and after photos," and went on to say she's censoring people because they are triggering. So, okay, number one, I'll have to find this before and after lymphatic massage, whatever. Was it that, or was it weight loss? She lost weight. It's just so weird. Like, these body positivity people feel like they have to dance around this weight loss thing with all this language. I didn't do it because of vanity. I didn't do it because of this. It's a weight release, and I'm not trying to encourage anyone to lose weight. It's just so stupid. It's just so stupid. You lost weight. You were proud of your weight loss, and you should be. It's hard losing weight. The things you have to do to lose weight is hard, and it's good for you. Okay. It's a good kind of hard. You feel better about yourself. You gain more confidence. You should be proud. All right. And this stupid Jamila Jamil, I can't stand that woman. I can't stand her. Okay. She is someone who she's all about this body positive thing and wants to bash other women for losing weight or for whatever, when she herself is a conventionally attractive woman. She's also thin, okay? Wears makeup, she wears plenty of makeup. I guarantee you she's had plenty of procedures done. She's in Hollywood. But yeah, it's triggering when other people post their before and after. Like, girl, shut the up. Like, I just can't. Lizzo was morbidly obese. She lost weight. This is a good thing. I want to say that me and Jamila have had a good relationship and I like her and I appreciate what she does for the body positive community. She does real work and she actually holds people accountable. But I took it personally because I was guilty. I had posted a before and after photo. I didn't see how it was possibly triggering because it's not. It's not triggering. Okay. My God. Maybe I need to unlearn why before and after photos make me feel good about myself. No, they should make you feel good about yourself. You did something awesome, Lizzo. Okay. And she did. She was actually someone I think who did it without Ozempic. Like, we saw her in the gym, we saw her eating healthier. Like, she should be proud of that. But it felt unfair. I had seen photos of Jamila when she was overweight. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know Jamila used to be overweight. Wait a minute, Jamila. I thought intentional weight loss was bad. I thought that's toxic. Huh. Sounds a little hypocritical. She posts that photo to remind us of her experience and it validates her as a body activist. But now I see her as an objectively thin and beautiful woman. And I thought, why is it okay that she gets to post old photos of her body, but no one else's body is allowed to change? It's exactly. Lizzo's right there. It reminded me of the box that the commercialization of body positivity had put me in. When it was our little movement back in 2013, it was freedom. The body positive movement gave me wings and I could soar to unimaginable heights. But then it started to generate big business. And just like that, it became branded for everyone. Unfortunately, once something becomes for everyone, the people that it was originally created for are edged out. It's no longer for us anymore. It's no longer for the size 16 and up community. It's no longer for the disabled plus size community. It's no longer for the queer, indigenous plus size community. I would look up the has body positivity hashtag and I would see size 8 straight white women dominating the category. I mean, okay. First of all, I think that's kind of strange to say. As far as I remember, body positivity was just meant to be like feeling good about yourself, even though you're not the stereotypical beauty ideal. So, whether that is that you have cellulite, okay, or you're disabled, or you're bigger, or you just don't look like a supermodel. I think that was what the whole body positive message was supposed to be about. I didn't know it had anything to do with race. I didn't know it had anything to do with gender or sexuality. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was specifically meant for those people. I don't know. Like a lot of things, it evolves. I think in general, I can't imagine someone being upset that other people find value in a movement that you started. Because I think at the heart of it, the body positive movement, it did have a good message, at least in the way I understood it, in that you don't have to be perfect looking. You don't have to be the beauty ideal to still feel beautiful and good about yourself. So that would include everyone. That would include everyone who wasn't the beauty ideal. I don't know. I just think that's, again, it's just strange. I find that strange. Do you not? That, like, I would not feel upset that someone else, regardless of what they looked like, found value in a movement that I started. I don't know. I find that weird. So here we are, halfway through the decade, where extended sizes are being magically erased from websites. Plus size models are no longer getting booked for modeling gigs, and all of our big girls are not so big anymore. I am still a proud big girl, objectively big, over 200 pounds. I love myself as much as I've loved myself, no matter what the scale says. There may be some bad actors amongst us. Some people may have used the movement for financial gain or fame, and once it no longer served them, they abandoned it. That's okay. It was never about them anyway. We have a lot of work to do to undo the effects of the Ozempic boom. To undo the effects of the Ozempic boom. To make everyone fat again. Oh my God. I have a lot of work to do to regain the trust of the movement that gave me wings. It is work I am willing and ready to do. What do? We continue to have conversations. We continue to hold each other accountable. We release ourselves from the illusion that there is only good and bad. We reintroduce nuance into our discussions. I want us to allow the body positive movement to expand and grow far away from the commercial slop it's become, because movements move. Well, yeah, she's right about the body positive movement becoming commercialized and turning into a joke. It really did, okay? But it kind of seems like she's only upset about that now because she realizes that, oh, body positive movement did flop and they turned on her. Okay. But the reason that the body positive movement is no longer as popular as it was is for several reasons. One, I think that people just kind of had enough. I think they woke up and they're like, oh no, no, maybe we shouldn't celebrate people being morbidly obese. And actually, I don't really want to be obese. Okay. I'm actually really not happy there. And yeah, Ozempic did have a lot to do with it, I think, because now it's easy for anyone to be thin. It's easy for anyone to lose weight. So that was inevitable. And I think also the body positive movement probably didn't make as much money as everyone thought it did or that it would. I think there might have been, I mean, some instances, maybe like when it first started, but I think companies and brands quickly realized that, oh, actually, we have been using bigger models and we've been going away from the traditional beauty ideal and we're not selling any clothing. We're not selling any products. And I think that I read somewhere, I'll have to look it up because I can't remember, but I read somewhere that it was like some big brand retailers. I don't know if it was Old Navy or if it was Gap or something where like they had like a whole line of plus size clothing, but I think in like recent years, they no longer carry those sizes or they don't carry as much of those sizes anymore. And the reason being, they said, well, we just don't sell enough of them. And look, it could make more sense now because more people are losing weight, but I think that this happened even before like the big Ozempic craze, which I thought was odd to me, right? Because for so long, people were like, "Oh, we need more plus size clothing, we need more options." But I think that this happened not just with Old Navy or this one retailer, but with a lot of them where so they did do that. They had more plus size models and they had more plus size clothing, but they didn't sell like the other clothing. So I find that interesting because I don't know why that would be because I clearly right we have a big part of the population who is plus size, so I would think that from a monetary standpoint that would be pretty popular because yeah, I mean I guess if more than half the population is overweight, where are they shopping then, right? I don't know, unless it is the fact that maybe people of a certain size, maybe depends on their age too. I don't know, maybe these clothing retailers did not cater to their age group, or maybe, and I could be wrong, again, I don't know, it had more to do with the fact that a lot of plus size people who are not part of this body positive community, who actually don't want to be overweight, they don't feel as confident with themselves. So they're less likely to wear the trendy clothing and maybe go for something less trendier, like, okay, a basic t shirt and some tights, or a basic t shirt and some old jeans and a sweatshirt. So they're not shopping at these trendy places selling these trendy plus size clothing. I don't know, but it kind of relates to other studies they have done where they have shown in marketing, right, to people of all sizes, like, okay, here's a thin model, objectively attractive model, here's like just a regular person, no makeup or whatever. Which person are you more likely to buy from? They always go for the more attractive person. Okay, so look, from a marketing standpoint, yeah, companies are going to go back to that because that's what's making them money. And people, it's like people say one thing, right? The body positive movement, they were screaming about, we want representation, we want more regular people out there, we want real people, we want unfiltered. Well, Victoria's Secret tried that. Okay, I did a whole video on that and how they did. They used more diverse models with different body shapes. They stopped with the editing. They took weird pictures, right? I don't know what they were doing at one point in time. They basically didn't put any makeup on the girls. The brand didn't do well, right? Same thing with the Barbie doll, right? There was a point in time where people are upset with Barbie because she was too perfect and it's a bad example for girls. So Barbie, Mattel, they came out and they're like, okay, well, we're going to make different Barbies. And they had different Barbies with different sizes and Barbies that didn't look so perfect and Barbies that, maybe had disabilities. And the Barbies didn't sell. Nobody wanted those Barbies. They wanted the perfect looking Barbies. So you look, I think it is always going to go back to, I think people, at least in media, they like looking at things that are aspirational. And I can only say from my perception, I think that this is because I think we want something that inspires us and motivates us. Because at least for me, when I see someone who's really in shape, someone who's really talented and beautiful and successful, sure, there might be some jealousy there. I think we all have a little bit of that in us. But overall, it's more like, well, damn, like I want to be like her or him. I want to do that. I want to look like that. I want to be as successful as she is. And it more inspires us and motivates us. Now, maybe we'll never be as beautiful or successful as that person, but at least there's hope there. It gives us some kind of drive, right? And that I think only has a helpful or positive impact on us. If someone can inspire us to work out or to, make more money or to work harder or have more confidence in ourselves simply because they look really good or, they're being celebrated for being really awesome versus someone who is morbidly obese, someone who doesn't take care of themselves, someone who is just maybe is not as successful, right? I don't know. Maybe that doesn't inspire at least me to want to be better, right? Unless it's like the opposite end where it's like I don't want to be that person, so I'm going to work even harder. But yeah, I just think it's so interesting with Lizzo that she even feels the need to basically come out and like defend herself. It's like some of these body positive people are really trying so hard to hold on to this movement as much as they can to hold on to any kind of shred of notoriety or success that they can get from it because yeah, it is dying and maybe they now feel irrelevant because before they were being celebrated and now they're not as popular as they were because I think people they just don't want to be that. Okay. Tess Holiday is another great example. She has also been out recently, talking about how she gets no more modeling gigs anymore and how the world is just awful to fat people. Oh, and she had an ED. And now she has a book out, I guess, for teens, telling them that, like, oh, it's fine to be fat, everyone. Yeah, I mean, she's suffering because no one's falling for that anymore. That's just the reality. That was always going to be the reality, okay? I think even now, actually, she said something about her trying to lose weight now. I don't know. I need to look into that, maybe do a whole video on that. I'm so behind on some of these things, but eventually I'll get to them. Yeah, anyway, that's all I have to say about that. This is obviously right on our alley, what we talk about on this channel. And I for one am just glad that the body positivity and fat acceptance thing is just dying because it just got silly. Of course, now people are still afraid that, oh, everyone is losing weight. They all have ADs. And that itself is just a silly and stupid. Anyway, you guys keep doing you and being healthy and working out. I'm going to keep doing me. My goal is and always was to be skinny and healthy. So that's what I'm going to do. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out my book, 1 Year, 100 Pounds, if you have not yet. That is my story of how I lost 100 pounds at 14 on my own. It's also a tough love guide for how you can do it too. And of course, my 1 Year New You guided weight loss journals, which are formatted after the same exact journaling method I used to lose 100 pounds and still use today. If you want to check those out, I will leave the links below. Thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.